How come yours is always cool? Mine always is a blue.
I don't know why you care about these things.
I care about everything, Jeff. It's just who I am. Actually, I care about some things a lot and some things not at all.
Oh, I'm aware.
There's no in between.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about
Board games.
and
Board gamey things.
Exactly. We are here to tell you about our favorite games of the year of 2023. We played so many 2023 releases. Actually, I should have written down how many.
But not all of them.
No,
so if there's some
yeah.
not on this list that you're like, "Arr."
Yeah, don't do that.
Also, it's our list.
Yeah, it's our list.
Go do your own list if it makes you mad.
Just give me a second here. I'm counting. So we have played around 103 2023 releases this year. And I say around because what I have tracked are my plays. You may have played something that I don't have on the list. I don't think that you have, but I don't know. Of those 103 games, we're here to talk about what are our favorite, our top 10 games.
Our
top 10 games
top 10.
that were released in 2023.
Our top 10.
It's ours.
Not your top 10.
No, you can do one though.
Our top 10.
I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it and watch you post it and edit it and do all of those things all on your own.
Yep.
That'd be amazing. Okay, so I have, I want to do a couple like honorable mentions, aka games. Yeah, I think I have 3 too. Games that just missed the list. So, Jeff, what are 3 games that just missed your list?
Are we doing just rapid fire 3?
Sure.
Or are we going back and forth? Okay.
Whatever.
My 3, so this would be number 13, 12, and 11.
Yep.
Number 13 is Sky Tier Horde, or Sky Tear Horde.
Wow,
sorry.
okay.
Solo game
Mm-hmm.
that I actually freaking loved.
Yeah.
And I don't really like solo games.
Yeah.
12 is Mycelia.
Mm-hmm. Cute.
Really great game. And my number 11, Bamboo.
Oh, Bamboo didn't make your
It
list?
didn't.
I don't know Jeff's list, and he only knows some of mine before I actually did some rearranging. So my 3 that just missed my list, I have number 13, Diced Veggies from KTBG. I have number 12, The White Castle from Devere. I have a feeling that Bamboo and White Castle for us are like
Possibly.
swapped. And then at number 11, I have Kinfire Delve, Vainglory's Grotto. Do you have that higher? I'm curious. Okay, and I also just wanted to give a shout out to 2 other things. Number 1, Lorcana. It's on the list somewhere, but it did come out this year, and it was very exciting. It was a very exciting thing. So I want to shout out to Lorcana, and I also wanted to shout out Final Girl Series 2, which did come out this year. Did it come out this year? I work for Van Ryder Games, so I didn't want to put it on the list, all that good stuff, but obviously it's like my favorite game of all time, so shout out to Series 2 Final Girl. Jeff, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is from Plaid Hat Games, and it is Freelancers.
That's my number 10.
Really?
Yeah.
We have a regular crossover at
We
number 10.
have a real crossover, a normal,
A Crossroads
regular
game.
A Crossroads game.
Freelancers is a Crossroads game from Plaid Hat Games, similar to Forgotten Waters.
Yep.
Same system as Dead of Winter. Freelancers is a adventure game, adventure narrative game that's played in a storybook.
Yeah, it's very much so like RPG board game style.
And there's an app component to it, but basically what you're doing is acting as mercenaries in Freelancers. You're mercenaries, and you're taking on a bunch of different jobs and quests and that sort of thing.
You're a freelancer.
And as you play through this game, you're going to be flipping through this book, and the book is going to give each player options to interact with that version or that aspect of the story. So it might be like, head to the bar and see what's going on, or stay on the ship, or not stay on the ship, but
You're thinking of Forgotten Waters, yeah.
But like that sort of thing, or like head down the alley to see what's happening there, and that's going to trigger different things in the story. It's an evolving story. It's like kind of like semi-co-op, because you kind of want to be notorious more than others and that sort of thing, but you're cooperatively kind of working through this narrative story. It's awesome.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's cute and it's super fun. And I don't know about for you, but like the way that I rate games for lists like this is it's not just like how good is this game? It's like how is our experience playing it? Like what was that like? And we played through this with Emily and Doolin when they came to visit. And so it was even more fun because typically we'd be playing like games like this by ourselves, which is fun, but it's even more fun when you actually have like a group. And we just sat down and we like started to play and we just hammered out all of the scenarios that we could do because we had an early copy that only had so many scenarios, but it was awesome. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing to point out. A lot of these ranking lists, people rank for different criteria. Our criteria is primarily around fun and experience with the people around the table, whether it's just the two of us, whether it's the group that we're with at the time, which I'll talk about because there's a couple games on this top 10 that are somewhat related to the experience I had playing it, which I think is valid. Well, I know my number 9 is probably not on your list.
What is it?
My number 9 is from Studio Midhall.
Okay, no.
And that is Beast.
Wow, number 9.
I freaking love Beast.
Wowza.
Beast is a hidden movement 1v many game where one person is playing as a beast and is trying to secretly move around this map and achieve objectives. Normally those objectives are like to kill and hunt townsfolk. The other people are trying to find the beast.
Hunters.
By laying out traps, by observing tracks, and trying to figure out where the beast is, and then making an attack of opportunity when the beast is uncovered. We've played a bunch of hidden movement games like Mind MGMT, Mind Management,
Mr. Jack.
Mr. Jack. Beast, I felt, was thematically the best of them. And I also really liked the aspect where when the beast does a thing, it pops up onto the board. And then it's less so like really just where, like, it's less like in Mind Management, I feel like someone can get so lost and you have no idea where they are. In Beast, it's hard to fall too far behind.
Yeah, that's
because
fair.
when the beast does an action, normally when it kills someone, it's going to pop up on the board briefly, and then you have some idea where they're at. I really like that mechanism, and the art and the theme was really, really good.
Okay, so my number 9 game of the year, I don't know if this is going to be on your list, is Star Wars, the deck building game.
It's not in my top 10. It was my number 14.
Really? Okay, so Star Wars, the deck building game is exactly what it sounds like. It's a Star Wars deck building game, but it's a 2-player only, where one person is playing as the dark side, and one person is playing as the light side. And you are, what's it called? Not the light side?
The Empire.
The Empire,
the
dark side, rebel, light side. Anyways, and you are, it's kind of like a tug of war type of game where you are trying to bring the, what's the Star Wars terminology? You're trying to bring the
kind of.
dark side.
You get bonuses if you have the Force on your side or not.
Force. You're trying to bring the Force over to your side because you get bonuses and stuff. And so essentially, like, there's a market and you're buying cards, but you can only buy cards that go into your deck. And I love deck building games. I'm obviously not like, I like Star Wars, but I don't know everything about it. So the theme is fine, but I liked that it had the Force that was kind of like going back and forth. And you're trying to destroy the whole point is you're trying to destroy the other person's bases. So you're bringing out different planets, right? And the planets have bases, and then you're actually like bringing out more as one is destroyed, and then you're trying to get through all of their planets, basically. Anyways.
Similar to Star Realms.
Similar to Star Realms. Anyways, the point is that I love it.
It's very good.
It's very good.
I mean, it's 14.
Been a while now since we played it, and I would like to bring it out again, but like when we played it like quite a few times, like when we first got it. We even streamed it, which might be somewhere on our second channel. I don't know. But anyway, Star Wars deck building game number 9.
My number 8 is the first polyomino game on my list. Is it the only one? And that's Wild Wild West. Wild Child West is from Direwolf,
Mm-hmm.
and it is a Western-themed polyomino game where you are drafting dice, and those dice will basically allow you to place out polyomino tiles.
Yeah, it's like a row column system,
So-
which is really interesting. So
That's
like,
dice drafting.
yeah, like the die,
You're gonna roll
the die,
dice.
and it's going to tell you which column or
Yes.
which row you can take from. So you're not
Correct.
taking the die themselves, you're
Correct.
taking from those.
You are placing out these polyomino tiles in order to score points. So there's a bunch of ways to score points in this game. You can cover up different sections of towns. Depending on the round, you're going to score bonus points.
Mm-hmm.
You can place out sheriffs, and those sheriffs are going to shoot bandits in a row or column that they're in and score points. And then those bullets will actually turn to tombstones, which score points.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to score points. And it might be my favorite polyomino.
Ooh.
It might be. I have to play it some more. But it's hard to compare it to stuff like New York Zoo and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like of the newer ones,
Even better than Planet Unknown?
I like it better than Planet Unknown. Yeah.
My number 8, I don't know. Call it a cheat. But it's Ex Libris 2nd edition.
Really?
Not on your list?
33.
Wow. Okay. So anyways, Ex Libris 2nd edition, I am counting it because it came out in 2023. It is a reprint, like re-implementation, but it does have some like updated things in it. So we'll just count it. I'd never played Ex Libris, like the original version before. And it's just one of those like games that's puzzly enough that it makes my brain happy.
Yep.
Like, I like the way the game plays out. So essentially, like, you are building out, everyone's building out their own library, and you're trying to score the most points on the library that you build, and you have to build from, like ascending letters. So if you start with an A, then the next letter has to be like B, C, D, E. But if you have an F, then you can't play a B after. You can, but you're going to not score as many points. And you're just trying to build out a nice looking shelf. There's going to be certain types of books that you're going to score more points for having based on like what you want, or less points for having based on what's like a banned book. And then there's like an entire marketplace, and there's like a worker placement aspect where you're placing out your little workers in order to like do different things that are basically most of them letting you get more cards or play more cards or do different things. I love the theme. I love that it's like this magical library. I love that your little workers are these gnomes and they're very cute. And I like building out the library. Like there's something about the game that just makes my brain feel happy.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
My number 7 is actually a major shock. But the more I've thought about it, the more I realize it's not really a shock. My number 7 is from Elf Creek Games, and it is Santa's Workshop.
Okay, wowee. I don't even know where that fell for me.
Santa's Workshop is a very thematic worker placement game where you are building out toys for kids.
Yep.
Why I think I like it so much is it gives me similar feelings to Kanban. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, what are you talking about? That's absolutely crazy. But it's true. In Kanban, just like in Santa's Workshop, it's very procedural and thematic.
Mm-hmm.
So in Santa's Workshop, you need to get blueprints, which will allow you to then build a toy that you then need to figure out a way to deliver with reindeer, and then you need to deliver it. You need to get the resources, you need to get the resources to build it.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get the blueprint, get the toy, get the resources to build it, and then deliver it.
Yeah.
And it all makes sense. The mechanisms matched the theme so well, and I very much enjoy that in games. It's why Kanban is one of my favorite games of all time. And this feels like that. It gives the same feeling to me without the evil boss. Sandra ripping around.
Yeah.
Yeah, this shocks me just as much as you're shocked.
Yeah, because it's so, like, it is like that, but it's very cutesy.
It's very cutesy, but I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, I loved it too, but it landed at number 25 for me.
That shocks me.
Yeah. I think I didn't want it to be recency bias because I did my list and I had a bunch that we just played and I was like, I should probably like
That's
really
fair, but
think
when
about
I look
this.
at my list, a lot of them are not recency.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I feel like...
Listen, hey, guess what? It's your list.
No, I know, but like I was also mindful of that
Yeah.
because we did just recently play Santa's Workshop.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's right where
It's
it
where
needs
it
to
should
be.
be. That's fine then. Okay, my number 7, Jeff had just talked about. It's Wild Tile West.
Mm-hmm.
I love me a good polyomino game. We all know this. And I think this is the highest rated polyomino game that I played this year. So I'm not going to go over everything again. Everything that Jeff said, I really like the drafting mechanic of this game because you can block other people because like if you take something from a row, then other people can't take.
Well, they have to spend gold to get it.
They have to spend gold, like all of this stuff. So anyways, I enjoy it. The theme is fun. The artwork is fun. It's got animals and it's cute and it's pretty and we played it a bunch and I love it and I hope it comes to BGA eventually because I feel like it'd be a really good BGA game.
Well, it's Direwolf, so they'll probably put it on their own app.
That's true.
My number 6 is another shock. There's actually a lot of these shocks me. My number 6 is actually Kinfire Delve.
Wow, it was higher than mine. I regret. I think I could have put it higher.
We've played the Vainglory's Grotto.
Yeah, it's right there.
I can show you it.
Because I just played it. Look how shiny.
Kinfire Delve is a...
It's like a dungeon diver.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's kind of like
delver.
It's kind of like a delve into a dungeon where you have a hand of cards, and those cards are going to allow you to overcome a bunch of challenges that are going to come up. The deck of cards in the middle is a well in the one we've played, and you're basically trying to get to the bottom of the well in order to fight the boss.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have cards, they're going to have colors and numbers, and there's dice, and you're rolling and playing these cards in order to overcome all of these different like rooms that come up. So one room might require a combination of red colored numbers or something to that effect in order to overcome it. And then as you defeat these rooms, you'll pull new cards from the well, and once you get to the bottom, there's a boss fight. Some things can happen as you delve through this well that might pump the boss up and make them more difficult, that sort of thing. It shocks me how much I enjoyed this, but it gave me Slay the Spire feelings, and Slay the Spire is one of my favorite, I guess, video games, and it gave me similar vibes, and is probably the biggest shock of this year for me.
I probably should have had it higher because I recently played it solo like 4 or 5 times, and I love it. Yeah. I don't know if it's out yet, but if it is, I'll link it below. I either have or am having a solo mode episode on Vainglory's Grotto, Kinfire Delve. So if you're interested in watching it, you can check out how it plays.
I think it's
so good.
Yeah.
It's so challenging also.
For context, we are primarily 2-player game household. Jamie plays a ton of solo. So games that do that really well, do 2-player really well, are always going to get an inherent bias from us, from me, and that is a 2-player or solo game, and it's really good.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
My number 6 is a button shy game. It's the only button shy game on my list for this year, and that is Numbsters.
Yeah.
Did it make your list? Oh.
27.
Numbsters is one of my most played games of this year. In fact, let me just take a second to tell you. 27. I have played Numbsters 27 times.
I haven't played it enough.
No, you only played it like twice. So Numbsters is an 18-card wallet game. It's a button shy game where you are trying to get 2 cards to remain in your hand. The 8 with another number on top of it. And basically numbers are eating each other, and that's how you're shedding cards from your hand and from the deck. The goal is to shed all of them to have just those 2 left. It is so much harder to do than you would think. It is so much fun. You can literally play it in your hands. I take it everywhere I go. Traveling, yep. Play it on airplane, you bet. Play it anywhere. If I'm bored, I'm just like, oh, play Numbsters. It's so pretty. It's so fun. And it is now, I think, my favorite solo button shy game ever of all of them. I love it.
My number 5 has already been mentioned. It has been mentioned. Did you? No, it was in your honorable mentions.
Oh, okay.
And that is from Devere Games. the White Castle.
My number 5 is bamboo.
That's insane.
So we literally switched them.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I'll talk about White Castle first.
Yeah.
White Castle is a worker placement game where you are basically trying to get prestige for your family by taking a bunch of different worker placement actions. You can like train samurai, you can play workers out, you can play out, I can't remember the title of them, but they're basically trying to ascend this castle in order to earn your prestige points. What's really unique about this is it's kind of like dice manipulation. And depending on which side of these action selection places you take, like it limits what the other person can do. It's so good because it plays so quickly. There's a bunch of decision-making processes that need to go into this game, and it's incredible what they can do in such a small box game and do it in like 30 minutes.
Devere. Amazing.
It's incredible. It's kind of hard to explain without playing it, but it's one that I think a lot of people have loved this year, and I am no exception.
Mm-hmm. And then my number 5 is Bamboo, which is funny because White Castle and Bamboo are both Devere games. They're like same size box, like heaviness, all that stuff. So essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to bring prosperity to your family. And the families or the different clans like grow bamboo, which is then used to perform different actions. So like you'll take bamboo that you've grown in a certain color and then you will put it in a stock which is going to allow you to do an action, which is a variety of different things. Like you can burn incense to gain favor of the spirits. And that section is almost like not an area control, but like majority. Like you want to have the majority of the incense or incense at the top in order to claim the spirit. And that's going to give you some kind of an effect or action or whatever. Then there is like the making of your house. There's like set collection piece where you're trying to get different pieces to make your home more prosperous. So essentially like it's in the world of like Bitoku and Silk, which we just bought but haven't played yet. But that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to make your family more prosperous, essentially. It's very, very cute. I love it. I want to play it again because it's been a little bit since we've played it, but that is my number, whatever number we're on. 5.
My number 4, Jamie has not played. And that is Zoo Vadis.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I'd like it.
You would like it a lot.
You think?
Yes. Zoo Vadis, I had the absolute privilege of playing with my friends in Kentucky, Max, Doolin, and Kenny.
Before they tried to kill him.
Before Max poisoned me, which is a story for another time. So in Zoo Vadis, everyone is trying to basically be like a mascot of this zoo, and you're racing up this track, and you're trying to get laurels and victory condition points, whatever, so that you can continue to move up.
All to be a mascot.
There's a slight negotiation piece, but it's one of those things where it's like, hey, like, help me do this thing, and I'll help you do this thing. So ultimately, you're trying to negotiate with your fellow players. Everyone has like somewhat asymmetrical ability, and you can only use stuff so many times during the game, and it just becomes such a game of bullshit. Like, it's so fun. There's like these peacocks, and if the peacocks move up, like they just, because only again so many people can get to the top, and if there's peacocks in there, it basically blocks people from scoring. So you can only score to win the game if you get to the top. So if you don't get to the top, you don't get to score. You basically just automatically lose.
That's
so
funny.
in the game we played, Kenny like raced to the top, and then Doolin basically put the peacock at the top, which made me, him, and Max not score. He basically just said, "Here, Kenny, you win."
I love it.
And it's incredible. It's one of those games, though, that needs to be played with the right people.
I was going to say, this game would be so group dependent.
It's very group dependent, but if you play with the right group, I don't know if there's a game that gives you a better experience. And I'm not one for negotiation, so take that for what it is. But Zoo Vadis is a game I desperately want to play with you, and I hope to sometime soon.
My number 4 is another Devere game that I haven't heard you talk about yet.
Go on.
3 Ring Circus. Higher?
Don't know.
So Three Ring Circus, another Devere game. Devere just makes amazing games, but essentially you are like your own traveling circus and you're kind of competing against, is it Barnum?
Barnum, yeah.
Barnum's circus, which acts almost as like a timer.
Correct.
In this game.
Yep.
So essentially like you're just going through the map and the map can like expand depending on how many players you have, and then you are performing a circus. And there's some small towns where you can do that, or there's some like big cities where you have to do like special things in order to perform like a bigger show or whatever. So you've got kind of like a tableau in front of you, and you're going to be playing out different acts in your tableau. So it might be like a trapeze artist or some kind of an animal. A magician. And some things are going to come out that are going to kind of like score based on the cards that you've played beforehand or ones that are coming after. So like there's a bit of that tableau builder. There's also like an area control aspect to this game, and that's why you are trying to perform circuses, because you want to be better than not only Barnum, but then everybody.
More well-known.
Or more well-known. So you're trying to like control the different areas in it's America that you're doing. So it's like different states.
It is, yeah. Different
states and cities and stuff like that. So anyways, the theme is super fun. The gameplay is really fun. It's one of those things where it's like, area control at 2 players, but it just works. It works with how they've like minimized or shrunk the map and done all of these things. And it's a circus. You can't not have fun.
My number 3 is probably a game that's going to be on a lot of people's lists for 2023, and that's Thunder Road Vendetta. Thunder Road Vendetta is a race to the finish line with 3 different levels of cars. There is some asymmetry that you can get at the higher non-base version of the game.
Chrome!
The Chrome edition does come with some asymmetrical abilities and that sort of thing, but the base game is 3 cars. You have a small car, medium car, big car, and these cars are going to be going along this track in good terrain, bad terrain. They're sliding all over the place. They're wrecking into each other. They're pushing things off the board. It's basically like Mario Kart in a board game. You can bring helicopters out that can shoot the other cars, and all you're trying to do is get your car, one of your cars. Doesn't matter if it's one. It has to be one, but it doesn't matter if you lose the 2 others. As long as you get to the finish line with one of your cars, you win. It's chaos incarnate.
Yeah.
Things can pinball off of each other, so you can slam into one car, and that car can blast off into the air and land off the track. And if you land off the track, you're gone. It's chaos. It's incredibly fun, and one of the best gaming experiences I've had this year.
Yeah, and we have played both regular and the Chrome edition. Needless to say, we sold our regular copy to buy the Chrome edition because it's fun. All right, my number 3, this is going to be on your list, is one that I was worried was recency bias, but I don't care, and that's the Fox Experiment. So,
not on my list.
The Fox Experience from Pandasaurus Games, and it's all about breeding foxes. I don't know if anybody knew this.
You knew. I knew it would be up there for you, just on the theme.
Love foxes. I have one quite literally tattooed on my arm. Like, I love them. And so this is all about breeding foxes based on like a true kind of real thing that happened in history where they were trying to domesticate foxes. But it's very kind of simple in terms of what you're trying to do, and the game is very like methodical. It's like you have 5 rounds. Each round has a certain number of phases. The first phase is you have to take a female fox and a male fox and you place something on a supply track, and then the next phase is you breed your male and female fox and to make a pup, and you do that by like collecting dye off of the parent foxes and then rolling them to make traits to basically you're trying to make the friendliest pup, and you are just progressively doing that more and more, getting more and more dice in order to make the friendliest pups. And that's going to play over 5 rounds, and then it's just amazing. I just love it. I just think it's so much fun. Like, it's so cute. And then the pups that you make, they go out into the world and then they get to make pups. And you get to name them. And I bought all the upgrades. Even the 5 to 6 player expansion.
She sure did.
When's the last time we played with 5 or 6 players?
Very infrequently.
Very infrequently, but we got it if you want to play.
My number 2 is recent iteration of an ongoing series, and that is Undaunted Battle of Britain. I don't think it's any secret that Undaunted is one of my favorite game systems, mechanisms, whatever you want to call it. Undaunted is a deck builder, scenario-based war game, and Battle of Britain is the plain version of that series. The biggest change...
Like airplane.
Yeah, the biggest change to Battle of Britain is a mechanism where the planes actually don't turn on a dime. So there is this system where you actually have to like not only turn the plane, but you have to like change the position of the plane's nose so that it can gradually circle back and get behind other planes. So it feels way more strategic than the other Undaunted games. It's way more thinky and planny on your turns, as opposed to just like playing out a rifleman and rolling some dice. There's way more board manipulation that needs to happen because bombers are going to turn much slower than a fighter is going to turn. So the theme of this game is aerial battles over Britain in World War II. So it has all of the different plane types from both Allied and Axis. And again, like it's just more Undaunted to play, and I'm never going to say no to that.
Yeah, I love Undaunted, but this has been my least favorite one.
I knew it wouldn't be on
I
your
just want to get to... I like the just playing a card and rolling the dice and shooting them up and all that stuff. And there's there's still that, sure, but you're like, I'll be there in a minute.
It's much more strategic of where you have to move your ship.
I don't like the strategy.
Where you have to move your planes and stuff.
Yeah, airship. Okay, my number 2, Jeff already just talked about, is Thunder Road Vendetta. This game is crazy. I love it so much. Any kind of racing game, you know I'm already all in on it, but this one is just, like Jeff said, just chaos. And like, I have never finished a race we have played. I don't think I have finished. Either. You won. You've won
but
one.
I've won by eliminating everyone else.
Well,
I don't think I've ever gotten to the end.
I've never won. I'm blowing up all over the place. I'm chucked off of the side. Jeff is bashing me into stuff. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy fun.
My number
This is not going to be the same.
My number 1 has already been mentioned on this list by Jamie. This is the Devere game. And it is 3 Ring Circus.
You're kidding! I want to play that again, too.
I absolutely adored this game. Yeah. I am a big fan of area control. And games that can do 2-player area control well are very rare. And this one does it really well. I also very much enjoyed the theme. I know that it's a struggle for some people because Barnum was kind of a POS,
cool head.
Which is what it is. I very much enjoyed the area control plus tableau builder. Devere has such a unique way of just combining these things together and making them work.
Yeah.
And I've always appreciated that of what they've been doing in small boxes. I very much like that Barnum acts as a round counter, so you have so many rounds. We've talked about how much we very much enjoy games that have a set number of rounds. It's not open-ended. This one felt tight. The area control felt good. And the tableau builder was great. And I'm a sucker for a good circus theme. I really am. And 3 Ring Circus, I feel like got kind of superseded by White Castle when the White Castle came out.
Anybody talking about
3 Ring Circus doesn't really get talked about so much. But it's a good problem to have. I mean, Devere's putting out so many great games that every time they put out a new game, it's just all everyone talks about. But I do think 3 Ring Circus is my favorite of their current
and mine
lineup.
Too.
That's true. Yeah, it is. Yep.
And I love the artwork. I just love everything about it. I love Devere.
Yeah.
They can do no wrong, in my opinion. That was your number 1.
That was my number 1.
Do you know what my number 1 is?
No.
I did it all for the hooky. The what? The hooky. The what? So you could
Where
get
did
that
hooky
cookie.
End up on mine?
Stick it up your ass. Stick it up your ass. Hooky. Hooky is my number 1. Where is it?
I don't know. It's down.
Jeff, come on. It's got to be up.
It's down far.
It's not even on the list.
Not even on the list. It's 31.
31. Okay. Hooky is a game that I stumbled upon so randomly And I picked it up. I'm like, what the heck is this?
Imagine you wouldn't have purchased
This looks ridiculous.
You almost
What is this? A game for children?
Yeah.
And it wasn't, even though there's little kids on the box. So basically, this is a deduction game where you are trying to deduce which children in class are playing hooky. There's 3 of them, okay? And then, so 3 cards are taken out of the 26 to start. And then everybody has a hand of 5 kids. And then there's a playground with some kids. So you are going through, I think it's 4 rounds, and you are asking people 5-letter words. And they are then going to tell you.
Each kid is a letter of the alphabet.
Each kid is a letter of the alphabet. And then they're going to tell you how many letters they have. So if I say Jeff, hooky, he might say 3. Now, that could be because he has an O, and I said 2 O's, so that could be 2. Like, there's all of these things that mess with your mind.
Even listening to you talk about this game melts my brain.
It is totally a brain melter. If you love puzzles, if you love those deduction-style games, like, I think you'll love this. But, like, you're going around, and then you think you've got it, and then someone says something, you're like, what?
Yeah, because you make leaps in logic,
You
and
make
you're
leaps
game
in
over.
logic. Anyways, nobody talks about this game. I mean, nobody talks about this game, and I don't understand why, because I think it's so good.
I do very much like hooky, but I just can't process those things.
It's not your kind of game. But
we play this game and everyone's like, yeah, I got it. And I'm like, I'm not even.
Listen, if you're a fan of Turing Machine,
yes.
I am telling you, you will love hooky.
Mm-hmm.
It is great, but you can't play it by yourself. So you need to find friends to play with, okay?
Yeah.
You just got to do it. It's so good. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's my number 1. And those are our top 10 games of 2023 that came out in 2023 from us that we have played.
Our list.
Our list of the 103.
Our list.
2023 games that we have played.
We haven't played them all.
We haven't played them all. We tried, but we couldn't do it because we're only human. Here's what we will tell you. The next video is going to be our top 10 games from 2023 that were new to us. Okay? So stay tuned for that, because that's coming next. Because if we tried to put all of that in one list, I couldn't have done it.
It's fair.
Right? So that's coming next. But anyways, in the meantime, if you're interested in buying any board games, especially like the ones that we talked about today, you should first start by checking your friendly local gaming store. And for us, that is
the Boardroom Game Cafe.
Do you like snacks?
I do.
Where do people get snacks?
MunchPak.
MunchPak. You'll love to see it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see,
please subscribe.
We hope to see you again soon. And now we say goodbye. Goodbye.
Later it is.
Well, 2024 is off to a good start. Just kidding. It's not 2024 yet. Which one do you want to do first? This year or new to us?
It matters 0%.
0%?
We're doing both of them, so why does it matter which one we start with?
What do you think should come out first?
It doesn't matter.
Can't. Reading The Fourth Wing.
You stopped, though.
No, I didn't. I've read it every night.
I read it every night?
I've read it every night. I read it.
Did you fall asleep with like your screen on or something last night?
My book.
What does that mean?
You frigger.
Why am I being a frigger?
Because you are. You're so hungry. All you're doing is eating
I know.
candy.
Well, I'm sorry that we had a crappy dinner.
Here's a story. It's 3 minutes into us recording. We haven't started, but we get HelloFresh, and most of the times it's amazing, right? We've had some really good meals. Tonight, soup. It was just hamburger in a pot with water, basically, and carrots, peas.
Not enough water.
Carrots, peas, and roasted potatoes. It was just weird.
It was weird.
Like, why would you roast? It was like putting French fries.
Yeah, it was weird.
In your soup. And I even like went and looked on and that is what it's supposed to be. That's weird. Weird. Why? Just have potatoes in your stew. That would have been better.
It was weird.
We're fired up about it, so just had to share. Are you hot in here? Okay, I was just curious.
Are you?
A little bit.
We'll turn it off then.
But yeah, okay, I'm going to turn...
You always ask, but like, we live in your world.